Hey there friends, what's going on? So in this lesson I'm going to show you how to play the Smashing Pumpkins song, 1979. Thanks to all of you who have requested this one over the last couple years. It's been on my list forever. I've never learned it until now and I'm very excited to share it with you. So let me show you this. PDF chord sheet of my song notes that I have for this song is available to you. Head on over to playsongnotes.com. It's 3 pages long. I have the sort of verse, the lyrics, the chords, all the chord charts you need, the need to know stuff on the first page, and then 2 additional pages of just, tabs for learning the chords, some strumming tips, and also how to learn things like that main riff step by step, because you don't get there in just one shot, right? So it's all available. Check out the website. Again, lots of other chord sheets I have as well. Top-notch stuff. I hope it's all handmade with love. And enough of that talk though, let's get into this lesson. Now let me just say really quick, I'll show you the main riff that you hear in the intro and the verse, and then I'll show you the secondary riff you hear in the chorus. They're kind of similar, but they're different, and they make up though the bulk of the song. So enough talk, let's get to the good stuff now and learn this song, 1979. Let's do it. All right, so diving into this lesson. Off the bat, I just want to say really quick about tuning is you have to tune down 1/2 step if you want to play along with the Smashing Pumpkins album version. I'm going to stay in standard tuning just to keep it easier for y'all, assuming you're already in standard tuning. Again, just use the chords I'm going to show you here, all the tabs I'm showing you here, tune down 1/2 step if you want to play along with Smashing Pumpkins. Otherwise, you can stay in standard tuning. It'll sound fine, right? So first up, that intro and verse riff. Now, I'm going to show you step by step, right? I'll start with this, then I'll show you this one, and then I'll show you this one, right? This final one I'm showing you is pretty close to what, they're actually playing in the band, right? But I don't want to start with this one just because it's a lot to get into. If you're jumping into this song for the first time, there's a lot of nuance going on here that isn't necessarily immediately accessible or obvious, and it's good to get some muscle memory and sort of getting there step by step. So first, let's focus on just this. Now, I'm going to assume you know this song and you kind of have it in your head a little bit, because if not, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But here's the tab I would recommend starting with. So what this is going to do is focus just on the bass notes, right? So instead of doing these full octaves, right, we're just going to start by using our left index finger. We're going to put that on the 6th fret of the 5th string first, right? Yeah, 6th fret of the 5th string, and we're going to go from 6 to 7, right? So that first swell of notes is okay? Now in my tab here, you notice I have it tabbed out like this. Whether you want to play it like that or you want to do 8 strums, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? That's up to you. Again, you have to sort of hear the song in your head a little bit. The main idea here is use your index finger, right? That's the main idea. Then we're going to go down to the 2nd fret, okay? This is a little bit of a jump. We're going from 7th fret to 2nd, right? So the first part you're going to have to practice is this. Okay, and the idea here is to get your right picking hand going in a steady motion, right? Nice and steady. And as you're moving your index finger, you want to keep the steady strum going. Another thing I'll say about this is you want to start practicing your sort of dynamics here, right? Get the swell going on, right? A swell meaning like you want to start nice and soft. And it kind of peaks there, and that matches with the album version of this song where you hear those background vocals, right? Right, with the cool effect. That's kind of what you want to mimic with your guitar. It sounds good, right? So again, get good with that. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's the first thing you want to practice. And the next part is going to be up on the 4th string, okay? Now, I'm going to simplify this little riff quite a bit. I'm not going to do the bend yet. There's going to be a bend we're going to add later. Right, we're going to take the string and bend it, and it makes it go up a 1/2 step. We're not going to do that yet. We're just going to start on a 7th fret to 6th fret to 4th to 2nd to 4th to 6th to 9th. You're going to have to memorize this. Get the PDF that I made for this lesson or whatever. Basically, you got to memorize it. It's one of those things. You got to be able to do that, right? Have the sort of the numbers memorized or written down, and just play that over and over again until you can kind of, without thinking about it, go from 7th to 4th to 6th. I'm sorry, 7th to 6th to 4th to 2nd to 4th to 6th to 9th. Okay, so it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different notes, right? Just remember where you start, remember the pattern and everything. And again, hear the song, listen to the song, and that'll help you sort of cement this in your head. But at the end of the day, the first thing you want to be able to do for learning this riff is be able to play this first part, just repeat over and over again like this, right? So. Now I'll say when you're doing that first part, use your left index finger because that's going to set us up for the octaves we're going to do later, okay? So I'll do that again. Okay, so that's what you want to do first. Get comfortable with that, play it over and over and over again. Now, the next thing we're going to do, taking it to the next step, is add these sort of octave shapes in the first half, right? So with our left index finger where it was, right? All we're going to do is put our ring finger, our left ring finger, 2 strings towards the floor and 2 frets towards the sound hole, okay? So the first shape will be from 6 to 8, and we're just going to play the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string at first, okay? We're going to mute that 4th string because our index finger is just draped over it and touching it nicely, right? Get used to doing that. Just those 3 strings go from 6 to 8 to 7 to 9, okay? Then you're going to go down to 2 to 4. Okay, so that first part is going to sound like this. And this is, you kind of start to hear the song, right? Okay. Practice that over and over again, get a nice clean sound. If you haven't played this sort of octave shape before, this might be kind of tricky, but just, again, spend time with it. This assumes you've spent time with the single finger version, right? All you're doing is taking that single finger version and adding your ring finger. Okay, now the next part is going to take the same riff we did in the prior exercise, but we're going to add a droning 5th string, meaning instead of just doing the 4th string, we're going to do that same thing, but add an open droning 5th string the whole time, right? And by droning, I mean every time we play a 4th string note, we want to play the open 5th string with it, right? So. This exercise I have up is going to get you good at just targeting, you know, in the first half you're going to play only the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings, right? In the second half you're going to target just the 5th string and the 4th string. This is not something that comes necessarily easy out of the gate. You got to get some reps in with practice, and it'll get easier and easier as you work on it, all right? That's the next thing to do. And now finally, let's move from this second exercise to this third exercise. Now this is where we kind of capture the full acoustic sound that's going to mimic the Smashing Pumpkins version of this. A couple of things are going on here. Let's look at the first half first. In the first half, we're going to kind of play the open E string. It's kind of an implied open droning note with those first 3 chords. Okay, so now what I'm doing is playing the thickest 4 strings, but that low E string, you don't want to like hammer it in too much. And I don't want to use the word hammer because that means something else on guitar, right? I'm talking about you don't want to be like bottom heavy on that low string because it's going to overwhelm things. You just kind of want to brush it, right? You want to have the real weight on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. And then if you sort of just happen to brush the low E string while you're doing it, that's going to give us the sound we want. So this takes a lot of practice. I practiced this song a lot for the last week, and it took me a couple days to really get comfortable doing this. Because at first I was like, oh, this sounds horrible. It's so dissonant, right? It's so clashing to the ears. But that's what it is. And, you know, I think the key to making it sound good is don't overdo it on the bottom string and get a steady, nice, soft strum going that builds up, you know. Right? Now, let's look at the next part. This is a little bit tricky here because instead of going gonna do is on that first note, we're not gonna go to 7th fret anymore. We're gonna start on 6th, right? And we're gonna bend it up. And this was really tricky for me. I have medium gauge strings on my guitar, which makes the bending even more difficult. Basically, you're gonna have to spend time with your guitar and get comfortable just with that feeling of bending it. You need to have some sort of, I had some calluses build up over the last couple of days playing this, right? But you wanna sort of, you don't just wanna use your fingertip and pull it down. You almost wanna use your hand like a claw and really get in there, right? And you wanna hear, you almost wanna mimic this note, right? This is the 7th fret note. You wanna get this 6th fret note up to that. The more you bend it, it's kind of getting up there, right? So that's what you're gonna need to do. Now, how it's gonna sound is this. We're gonna do the first half. One more time. So what I'm doing there is doing an initial strum of the 5th and 4th string, and I'm gonna go from the regular 6th fret and bend it up, and then bring it back down, right? And he's actually, it sounds like he's skipping a strum there. You know, he does 8 strums in that first part, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And he gets back to the strumming, but for that first strum on that 6th fret, he's almost like, he's not doing that 2nd strum. He's kind of giving the bend a bit of time to breathe, okay? So that's gonna be that 3rd section there. I'll do it one more time, or I'll do it twice more. I'll do it kind of slow, right? And again, work your way up to this, doing those early exercises first. One other little trick you can do here is on those last 4 notes of this section, instead of saying up here on open and 9, that's how I have it tabbed out, you can come back from 9 to 6, right? Sounds kind of good, right? And I think someone I saw in some lesson or some comment said that Billy does this on one live performance. I don't know if it's Howard Stern or something else. Just saying you can do that as well. So that's what you're gonna use for that first section. You're gonna play that for the intro of this song, and then you're gonna use that during the verse, okay? So that's the good part. Now, let's look at the verse here. So in the verse, I have these like E riff and A riff things. Those just refer to, this is the E riff. Okay, and this is the A riff. Okay, now a couple things I wanna say here. For the A riff, if you want, you can just strum an A sus2 chord, right? Open, second, second, open, open, right? That would be totally acceptable, especially when you're singing, right? So. Stick down 1979. Cool kids never had the time. Live wire right up on the... Okay, now this F sharp minor. What we're gonna do here is we could play a regular F sharp minor. Street, you and I. Okay, so that's going from an F sharp minor to a B. I'm using sort of traditional shapes, but what I want to show you here is this alternative cool voicing up here. For the F sharp minor on the 5th string, 9 to 7 to 9. On the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. And then leave the thinnest 2 strings open. And then for the B, 7, 9, 9, 8. And then thinnest 2 open. So those last 2 chords. All right. Sounds pretty good. I have that called out in my PDF as well. But otherwise for this, for the verse, you're just gonna go back to the E riff. And then to the A riff. And then you do that one more time, and then you're gonna go back to that F sharp minor like I told you. And then to the B. Okay? And then we go to the chorus. You know, and I don't even care. And the chorus is gonna use its own little riff. And now we're gonna look at that one now. Okay, so let me get my paper ready here. So this one, the good news is this one uses a lot of the techniques that were in the prior riff, okay? And I have it in my tab here. I have, you know, the chords under it. I have it as E, and then an over E flat. Then I have it as a B, and then the A riff. The A riff is just going to be the exact same as the previous riff. So let's focus on the first half, because that's the only thing that's new here. Now, if you wanted, you could use what you already know from riff number 1, from the intro and verse riff, right? Because basically, look at the chord names. We're going from the E to the E flat to the B. You could just do the octaves. Technically, you could, right? I don't think that's what he's doing, but so, and I don't even care. And you could strum the A sus2 for the second half of the riff. But instead of doing the octaves, let's, I think Billy is playing this, and it sounds a lot better, to be honest. So it's for E, it's gonna be a 6-string E, right? The octaves are kind of muted. This 6-string E, I guess it's an E5, is basically open, 7, 9, 9, and then open, open. Right, and I don't need. Okay, so then the second chord, I have it as over E flat. And what that means is we're kind of gonna bring in this E flat note, right? Now there's a lot of ways to do this. So this is the sort of one of those things that is up to you, okay? I have it tabbed out like this from what I just showed you, right? 7, 9, 9, and then I'm gonna go to 7, 9, 8. I like this because it's just so easy to play. All you're doing is lifting up your pinky on that 3rd string, and your middle finger is down waiting for you on the 8th fret, right? Now, what you can do also, though, is do, you could just move your index finger down from 7th to 6th. So 6, 9, 9. So, and I don't even care. I just find this stretch is really uncomfortable for me to do for my hands. So I don't like to do it, right? You also could do, this is a little bit easier of a stretch, it's still a stretch though, 6, 9, 8, right? So this is the this is the middle one on my right cluster here, right? From 7, 9, 9 to 6, 9, 8. That's one way to do it. And then finally, you also just do the octave like I told you. And in care, right? So that's totally up to you. Now after that E flat or E major 7, whatever you want to call it, you want to go down to either an octave B, like we did in the verse riff, or a sort of 2nd, 4th, 4th, like a power chord B. And I kind of leave the thinner strings open. I like the power chord version. That's what I have in my full riff here, going back to my full riff. So here's what I play for this chorus riff in full, right? That wasn't a good bend. Let me do it again. And I could, for the second half, just strum an A sus2. Divided rhythm. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Okay, at the end of the chorus, we're going to go to F sharp minor. I like to play it down here in 2nd and 4th for this one. Keep it nice and low. And then for the B, you can either do it on 2nd and 4th as well. Just go to the 5th string, you know, 5th string, 2nd, 4th, 4, or go to the 7th and 9th fret. right? Whenever I play this B, I leave the open strings up here. Then you go back to the E riff, the first riff, and then you go into the next verse. So those are the main two riffs you're gonna need. I hope this was helpful. Again, there's a lot of nuance there, right, that I am sort of calling out. But before I get into some other sort of just general tips, let's look at this bridge. It's the last part we haven't covered yet. So here, we're gonna be going from a B for 2 measures to a C sharp minor to an A. And I'm playing an A sus2. And actually for all these chords, I'm leaving the thinnest 2 strings open. The nice thing about this is you can keep your left ring and left pinky on the 4th string and 3rd string for all these chords. Check this out, right? B, C minor, C sharp minor, right? So 4th, 6th, 6th, to 8 sus2. You're just sliding your ring and pinky fingers. Right, and then you're gonna go from that F sharp minor okay, so that's how you do the bridge. And then we have, that's most of the song. A couple other things I'm gonna show you here is one, for chord shapes. I just made this chart here to show you a few different ways to play these chords. For the E, you could just play, and I don't need. For that main E, you could do an open E, so I have that. I also have the 7/9/9 version of the E, okay? Now, for the A, there's obviously a regular A, but I like to do A sus2 a lot. But you also could do this version, which is open, 7/6, open, open, starting on the 5th string. That's basically another version of an A sus2. It sounds really good, right? That sounds good in the chorus. And I don't even care if I da 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 dee da 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 da. Right? Now, and then there's, of course, there's a 5/7/7, leaving the open 2 strings. Okay? And the B, you could do a regular B up here, 2nd, 4/4/4, or you could leave the thinnest 2 open, or you could do 7/9/9, 8, 7/9/9, 8. Finally, the F sharp minor. Regular F sharp minor, you could just do the bassiest 2 notes, bassiest 3 notes. Power chord version there, or you can have this version up here. Okay, so basically use all those chords, and then for the E over E flat, or the E major 7, where you go from this, have this one in your bag of tricks too, right? This is 7/9/8. So those are the chords. Now, strumming, I'm not going to talk a lot about, because basically you just have this down, 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 right? Down, 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 down. So what was happening there is the left hand's doing all the action. This is the constant pattern. It's just you want to get the dynamics going on. So the dynamics are not necessarily easy to capture. Another strumming pattern I've written down is down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, right? So this is the bridge. And if anything, I'll add an up strum at the very end. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. Okay, so again, strum it in a way that just works for you. I know that's, I always feel like I'm copping out when I say that, but with this song and the arrangement that Billy's playing and everything, it's not necessarily a traditional, I feel like it's not a traditional strum song. You kind of have to do the constant, the constant down strums, or if you want to break that up a bit, that's fine. But listening to the drum track might help you there too. Okay, so that's going to be it for this lesson. I hope this was helpful for you. This has been an interesting one to learn. Again, get the PDF at my website, playsongnotes.com. Got the chords and the lyrics and some of the chord charts there, all on one page. And I have 2 other pages as well, which give you some additional tabs, which are helpful for learning this song. So thanks very much for watching this far, y'all. And thanks for all of you who requested this song. This has been David Potts. I'm going to take care. I'm going to take off now. You take care, and I'll stop talking. Bye-bye, friends. See you later.